Baron Corbin just took a shot at WWE following his departure from the company in the latest round of non-renewals and talent releases. We're going to take a look at exactly what Baron Corbin had to say. We're also going to talk about the massive news of Bill Goldberg's retirement. He announced his retirement earlier today. We are going to take a listen to exactly what he had to say about this. All that and much more coming up right here in this video. So be sure to smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. All right, first things first, let's talk about Baron Corbin, one of the more high profile of this latest round of WWE departures. It's worth noting that Corbin's departure from WWE was not a release. It was a case of WWE deciding not to renew his contract. His contract was coming up, and they have said that they will not renew that contract. And in effect, he will no longer be with the company at the expiration of that deal. As of right now, we don't know exactly when that's happening, but the indication is that that will be soon. Now, ever since then, we saw Corbin kind of basically say his goodbyes on Twitter, but one of the questions was, what are the feelings of Corbin? Are there feelings of maybe WWE let him off too soon? Maybe he wasn't the person to pick for a departure. Maybe there was more left in the tank for the Lone Wolf. Well, here's what Corbin said that is getting the internet in a bit of a tizzy online. Here is what he said, responding to a fan. WWE fumbled the bag letting you go. Corbin then responded on Instagram, I appreciate that and feel the same. So that is Baron Corbin agreeing with a fan who said that WWE fumbled by letting him go. Now, obviously, the first thing that many people are going to say is, oh my goodness, Baron Corbin is shooting on WWE, and he hates the company. I don't think that is the case. What I do think this is a case of, though, is frustration. And understandable frustration, because if you look at Corbin right throughout his career, it was very clear early on that WWE had big plans for him, that WWE wanted to build him up into being one of their premier villains, their premier bad guys, their premier heels. And I think he had the tools for that early. But I think the spots they put him in, and more appropriately, the characters they put him in, were not necessarily there. Because, let's be honest, 2019 Baron Corbin should not have been the one to retire Kurt Angle. And I think there's using that heat, right, from being the person who retired Kurt Angle. There's using that heat and turning it into something good. But the Constable Corbin gimmick was not good. It was not something of like, oh my God, there's this entertaining heel that everyone loves to hate or whatever. It was almost go away heat. But I thought that despite all of that, and despite the faults, and despite everything that the Baron Corbin character went through in WWE, I thought that there was, but still that potential there. And we saw that over the last couple of years. I think Baron Corbin really did the work of his career in the last few years when he was getting better in the ring and when he faced off with Braun Breaker and teamed with Braun Breaker in NXT. When you have a guy in Baron Corbin who, for whatever reason, it was creative, it was also kind of ability in the ring, I think, to an extent early on in WWE. It didn't pan out. But he goes down to NXT. He becomes a champ at one point, and then he gets into this feud with Braun Breaker. And I thought it was great. I thought the stuff he did with Braun was great. Like the hot tag stuff, the promos he would cut with Braun. I thought that was peak Baron Corbin. And I thought that there was the potential for WWE to use that and make that into something. And worst case, I thought Baron Corbin's a guy you can have around in NXT, and he can be one of those, one of those hurdle guys in that you want to get to the main roster, Baron Corbin's the guy you go through, right? If you have a talent you want to test out, Baron Corbin's the guy you have him face. Because he got to the point where in the ring, he was good enough to hold his own with anyone. And that's why I think, despite the departure from WWE, despite all that, when he hits the free agent market, he's going to be a guy to watch out for, because I do think that there's going to be a market there for him. I think TNA will be calling. MLW will definitely be calling. I think MLW has been waiting for, a guy like Corbin, a bigger guy, and someone who has that WWE experience to fill the hole of a Jacob Fatu potentially. Not that they have very, very similar skill sets or whatever, but I do think like a big name like Corbin could do wonders for MLW. So you had a time where, hey man, they got that money, they got that settlement money from WWE. Why not use it? So we'll see. But speaking of money, guys, if you guys want to save $20, boy, do I have a deal for you, guys. I know a lot of you out there go to wrestling shows. I know I'm going to see some of you out in full gear. I know some of you are going to be out in Vancouver for Survivor Series. I know some of you are going to be at World's End, the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. No matter what event you're going to, SeatGeek's got you covered, and so does Real Take Wrestling, because I'm going to save you $20 off your first purchase when you download the SeatGeek app using the promo code RealTake. Why would you do that? Why would I do? Don't ask these questions. Don't ask me stupid questions. Just take the free money. All you got to do is hit the link in the description below. Use the promo code RealTake, and you save yourself $20 off of your first purchase when you sign up. All you got to do is put in that promo code when you sign up for SeatGeek. Bing, bang, boom. SeatGeek is great. I use it myself. It rates tickets from a 1 to 10 scale, so you know exactly the type of deal you're getting. Fantastic reviews, and above all, a fantastic experience that saves you $20 that you can spend at the concession stand, that you can spend at the merch stand, that you can spend, hell, on parking, because God knows parking is so damn expensive these days, but that's why, personally, I don't drive. Guys, $20 off, SeatGeek, promo code RealTake. Use it before we lose it. Now that the shilling is out of the way, let's go and talk about, speaking of shilling, Bill Goldberg, who's always trying to talk himself into a match every now and then, did announce something very interesting today. Goldberg announced today on the SEC network, he was doing the pregame show for the big Georgia game today. He announced that he will be retiring from WWE in 2025. Let's take a quick listen to what Goldberg had to say earlier today.
We saw you, Bill, go back and forth at a WWE event last month in Atlanta. Any chance of a last match?
Whoa, be there with my family and relax and have a good time. But you know what? Here's the deal. And here's the news of the day. The news of the day is, per 3 executives, Nick Khan, Chris Legento, and Paul Levesque, in 2025, Goldberg's having his retirement match.
Oh, let's go!
So, I think we know who the subject or the victim, probably the front runner right now. We know who it is.
Victim,
100%. But 2025, Goldberg makes his return retirement match.
Can't wait,
bro.
Yeah, I got a couple months to
go.
get ready. No date, no time. So we'll see.
Stay tuned.
No date, no time. Audio courtesy of the SEC network. Bill Goldberg announcing that in 2025, he will be retiring, joining a list of other high-profile acts in WWE and professional wrestling will be retiring. Of course, we know John Cena is on that list. Hiroshi Tanahashi, a little bit, technically January 2026, but really New Year's 2026, 2025, whatever. He will also be retiring. So a star-studded affair when it comes to retirements in 2025. Bill Goldberg joining that list now. And the thing with Goldberg is, whatever you think of him, I know I personally have my opinions about Bill Goldberg, his wrestling career, where he kind of fits into things, as well as the booking of him in the last couple of years in WWE. I know Bret Hart also just so happens to have some of his opinions about Bill Goldberg. However, as someone who went back and I watched literally the entire rise of WCW and demise of WCW, for that matter, from 1995 into 2001, it was very clear that at its height, Goldberg Mania, or whatever we want to call it, the rise and star of Bill Goldberg in WWE, or sorry, WCW, excuse me, it was a very special moment. And for all of the people who will say it was a fake Steve Austin, for all of the people who would say that, you know, he couldn't wrestle, which I'm not going to be the one to argue with that, I will say this. Goldberg connected in such a special way with the audience that was just undeniable. And I could lie and say that, oh man, he was overrated, or that, well, I could lie and say that, you know, he never really was the guy. I could lie and say that Bill Goldberg couldn't hold a candle as far as being a star to other people on the roster. I could lie and tell you all that. But Bill Goldberg was arguably WCW, is like top 3 star. It was like Sting, Flair, Goldberg, Hogan, sure. So those are the top 4 guys in that company. And for him to even be mentioned in the light of those stars, it speaks to something real. It speaks to something tangible. Goldberg has left his mark on this industry. And you will never hear me say that someone who, you know, was who like put in their time, who became a biggest star as Goldberg has, and who doesn't have, like, you know, some horrendous baggage about them. You're never going to hear me say that they, like, aren't worth celebrating their career or whatever. There's a lot to celebrate in Goldberg's career, genuinely. At the same time, this does open up the conversation of, like, where Goldberg, like, lands in the grand scheme of things, and like, you know, in the rankings or whatever of all time, and that's a discussion for another day. But the fact of the matter is, right now, we know there's no set time, there's no set date. We do know Goldberg said in that audio that it would be a couple of months of preparation, so he's got some time, it seems, to prepare, but it will be happening. Bill Goldberg will be retiring in 2025. It sounded, at least in that clip, like it was going to be Gunther, as Goldberg said that the person that he or the front runner to face him, as he pointed to a video package that was playing of him confronting Gunther at Bad Blood. I think that would make sense. I think that's the match. Given the timeline of where things stand, I think there's a chance that this happens actually after WrestleMania, not at Mania. Because right now I do think that the current plan for John Cena is to face off against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And that would maybe potentially be Cena's 17th world title reign. Again, we will see. But I could see a situation where Gunther loses the title and then faces Goldberg. That way they don't have the crux of the title, you know, holding down that feud. And look, I'll be honest with you. Goldberg wins that belt. So God help me, Paul Levesque. God help me. Well, God help you, Paul Levesque. I mean, God help no one. If Goldberg wins that belt, I'm gonna tell you straight. If Goldberg wins that belt, and it's just like he squashes Gunther, I'm done. I will not cover WWE on this channel anymore. I know it's a damning statement, and I know the game that I'm playing here, but it's true. It's damn true. If Bill Goldberg squashes Gunther for the WWE World Championship, Heavyweight Championship, whatever the hell you want to call it, I'm walking into the sunset, and we're going to become an AEW channel, I guess. Which I know some of you would not mind, but I do love me some good WWE. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Guys, let me know in the comments section, who do you guys think Bill Goldberg should face in his retirement match? What was your favorite memory of Goldberg's career? And let me know what you guys also thought about the Baron Corbin drama, quote unquote, that I covered earlier on this video. Until next time, guys, be sure to leave a thumbs up, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Until next time, everyone, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.